I feel bad. I feel like Colin hasn't spoken at all.
Colin's just enjoying this. Where's your popcorn, Colin? Because this is like you're getting this for free. No,
I should have.
but really, Colin's got it down when it comes to knowledge. Like this guy knows his comic books. I think we all do, which is why I wanted to have this roundtable because
Yeah.
I feel like guys like us aren't, even though guys like us, supported the film. I don't think we're getting consideration. People are saying, "Oh, well, they don't make films for fans," and I'm like, dude. It's like if you don't understand something in a film, do a little bit of research, you'll get it a little bit more, But people don't want to have to do anything. They want everything handed to them. Like the Martha line. They wanted, even though they gave enough to draw that conclusion that, okay, Martha is his dad's dying words, it's his mother, and it's the catalyst for him becoming Batman. People still didn't put all the dots to connect all the dots, and I'm like, dude, you're making memes, and these memes are stupid because it just makes you look stupid because it shows that you couldn't get something that was that basic, so it just makes you look dumb. When you say that when you post all these memes saying that Jesse Eisenberg is the worst Lex Luthor ever, when they clearly said that it wasn't Lex Luthor, it just makes you look stupid because you can't follow a movie about guys in tights. That makes you dumb. Or it makes you have ADHD or whatever the fuck it is. I saw something that really pissed me off. Someone's like saying this movie sucks, and its status is saying watching Batman versus Superman. If you're in a movie and you're on your phone, you can't give all your attention to the film, so you might have missed stuff, and you're just like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Well, it doesn't make any sense. None of these scenes go together. What was the whole point of Lois Lane thing? It didn't lead to anything. Were you not watching the movie? Lois Lane, right? She was able to kind of, through the system, find out that Lex Luthor is no good. Bruce Wayne had to go behind Lex's back and do some sneaky MacGyver shit to find out Lex is no good. You know what I mean? And Superman, poor Superman, he's left out in the dark. He's like, Lois Lane is putting all these pieces together and people are dying and Superman's just like, fuck this, I'm gonna go off in the Arctic.
I think what people actually don't understand about that whole controversy with how is an ace reporter not able to figure this out, because the ace reporter was busy trying to report on Batman. He wasn't even suspecting Lex Luthor of anything. He had nothing to do with Lex Luthor, and the only reason Batman went to Lex Luthor is to get the kryptonite. And this is all, like, the one thing I'll disagree with you on is Lex Luthor. I think Lex Luthor always wanted to take out Superman. I think since the incident that, well, at this point happened 2 years ago, he's like, this guy's the strongest guy on the planet. If I take this guy out, I'm the strongest guy on the planet. I think he always had that mentality, which is why he started to pull the strings on Bruce Wayne, because he says the line on that amazing scene, my favorite scene in the movie. He says a line
18 months. 18 months.
It only took... It was so weird. It didn't take me that long to get Bruce against you. When he said it as he was talking to Superman, it didn't take me so long to get Bruce against you. He was already angry, which also reverts back to my video explaining the Martha thing, because I felt like I had the need to explain that, because I feel like
That was such a beautiful moment in the film, right? And I hate that we're so shitty and cynical as a whole that we couldn't, because a lot of people say it's lazy writing. And how come someone like Paul Dini, who's been writing these characters for 15 years, never found a way to use that device if it's lazy writing? You know what I mean? How come people who've been writing these characters for a long time didn't think, you know what? We should probably have these characters get together and say, hey, our moms are Martha. You know what I mean? But no one's ever...
I never even thought of it. It never even came to my mind. I was like, wait a minute, what? That's weird.
Because before the film came out, there was a guy that from Entertainment Weekly that saw the film, and he had a bunch of checkpoints. He said, people who like Man of Steel are going to love this film. People who didn't like who like Man of Steel but didn't like the ending, this film might redeem it for you. People who didn't like Man of Steel at all are not going to like this film. Wonder Woman is fearsome, and there's a scene in this film between Batman and Superman that will warm even the coldest cynic's heart. And everyone's sitting there thinking, well, I wonder what that scene is. And then when he says, you're letting them kill Martha, and then I'm like, oh my God. And then here's the thing that really made that scene for me. Clark, at that point in time, right, knew that he knew that Bruce was going to kill him. And he says to Bruce, you have to save Martha. He doesn't even care if Bruce kills him right there. He wants Bruce, because he knows that Batman isn't just a bad guy. He knows that Batman ultimately wants to do the right thing, but he's a little bit more excessive. He wanted Bruce that even if you're going to kill me, please find Martha, save Martha. And you want to know something that a lot of people don't get? There's a reason why during the fight, half the Batman mask got ripped away. Because at that point in time, Ben Affleck could show you with his eyes that he's putting it all together. That the cogs are working in his head, and that he realizes, wait a minute, I've been talking about... He even called Superman an it in the movie. He says we have to destroy it. And you feel like the entire time you're watching the film, he's just talking himself into doing something that he's not really 100% certain that he needs to do. Even though Alfred's like saying, we don't need to do this, Bruce is just like finding any reason to go ahead because he's crazy. And it's just so cool where Lois Lane's like, it's his mother's name, and then Bruce realizes, wait a minute, this guy has close human relationships. He's just not a guy that's flying around waiting to pass judgment on when he should act and when he isn't. This guy has a wife, probably, or a girlfriend, a significant other. This guy has a human mother that he's concerned about. His family isn't just like aliens from another planet that are its. He had actual connections to people, and it was really cool because even then, people were saying, oh, they became friends. Well, no, when you look at how Bruce was reacting, he was just still harped up on the Martha thing. Clark said, you know what? I gotta go save my mother. And he's like, no, I'll make you a promise. Martha won't die tonight. Because in his mind, that's the best way they could have gotten Batman to come over to Superman's side with the time they had. Because, oh, my mom's against the clock. Let's have a 15-minute conversation about what we should do. No, Batman's like, I'm gonna save Martha. Because he's messed up in the head. And that's why when he showed up to save her, no one was stopping him. That's why that fight scene had so much weight to it. Because it was like, in his head, this was a chance for him to save his mother by saving Clark's mother. And if you just look at it from a coolness standpoint, Batman is saving Superman's mother, the most powerful man on the planet, and he still needs the help of a mortal to save what's most precious to him, which is his mother. And I think and people who say this film didn't have any heart, I think people don't understand that heart isn't just one-liners and humor. There's all kinds of heart. Superman gave his life to save you. That's heart. That's heroism.
Like you saw my whole opinions on all that stuff. At the end of the day, I think people need to understand in this movie, this is not Batman. This is a Batman who forgot why he was Batman. This is a Batman who, judging from this movie, and now I even saw more stuff, which kind of reinforces my opinion, he lost Jason Todd. I'm assuming if he lost Jason Todd, if Death in the Family's in this, Killing Joke has to be in this. So, this is...
Jenna Malone was probably Barbara Gordon. I think there might have been a flashback sequence where she was shot by the Joker.
So this is a Bruce Wayne that has experienced all of this. And the Jason Todd thing lasts Bruce Wayne until Red Hood. And you even see that when Red Hood returns in the comic. He's baffled by it. But it's just, this is a Bruce Wayne who's completely lost his way, who forgot why he became Batman in the first place, which is why he was so harsh, and why he didn't care anymore. Because, also, like, needless to say, the Man-Bat stuff, this is assuming he's fought Man-Bat, he's fought Clayface, because Man-Bat was in the flashback.
Killer Croc's
in the Riddler sign in that where they had the fight. One of the panels has a spray-painted Riddler question mark. So he's faced the Riddler. He's faced Two-Face. He's faced the Joker. He's faced all of these iconic villains before who've messed with his head.
And you know what's something?
Like, at the end of the day, he's worn out. And that one, just him saying save Martha, which is why he started this in the first place, because he didn't want a kid to be like him.
To lose his mother.
Clicked in his head, and he all of a sudden said, wait a minute, which is why his change of attitude. He changed attitude completely, not because, oh, this guy has the same name as my mom, but because he remembered why he does this. He found the passion for it again instead of just doing it. He found the passion for it again. He found the reason why he did it, and thus how he also, Alfred, can we give credit to this? Oh. This is the best Alfred.
Oh my phenomenal. God. And I love Alfred. Alfred, a lot of people don't realize Alfred's my favorite character in all of comics. I love Alfred. I wish I had an Alfred.
when Bruce gets in the plane, he's like, sorry to be eavesdropping, but I heard your conversation. I already locked the phone in. Like, like, come on.
You know, yeah, it's so cool. Like he's just like, okay, yeah, we know where we need to go already. Let's do this.
Lie, I can't. I feel like Alfred has always been played by a great actor. Alfred has always had a spot on actor.
They had to, like, that's a pivotal role.
Yeah, like even in the Gotham series, like I only saw like half of the first season. I haven't been able to catch up completely.
Oh, he's great.
My favorite thing is when he's like, "Here's a watch." He goes, "Why are you giving me my father's solid gold watch? Put it in your hands when you punch him." And he's giving him Bruce advice on how to punch his bully in the face. Like it's just, and the best way to describe Batman is going to be a surprise to you because I just read this, is in the TMNT Batman collab that's going on
I
now.
haven't read that yet. I want to. I haven't read it yet.
There's this scene where Raph leaves the group and gets tired of everyone's crap. Shocker, Raphael gets that way. Bruce drives up to him and takes him to Crime Alley. And I'm not revealing any spoilers because it's like I'm not telling you anything that really happens. But he explained, because Raph says, "Oh, this guy's just a rich dude who wants to save people. He's stupid. He's like so doing this for selfish reasons." And he takes him to Crime Alley in the Batmobile, gets out of the car with him, and he goes, "This is where my parents were killed in front of me when I was 8." And he explains everything. And like you saw my video.
Yeah.
Pretty much explaining what I was saying. Like, this, I don't need this to happen to any kid. I don't need this to happen to anybody, ever. And that's what Batman's about. And this is Ben Affleck's, first of all, Ben Affleck, it's really tough because I like my Keaton as Batman. I love my Michael Keaton as Batman, but he's close. Ben Affleck is very dangerously close to being my favorite Batman.
Did you see what Kevin Smith said? Kevin Smith actually read the script that Ben Affleck wrote for Batman.
Yeah.
And even though Kevin Smith, you know, he's kind of, he might just be pole jockeying his boy, he's sitting there saying, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he won a screenplay for this script. It's that good.
Well, but Kevin Smith also kind of trashed Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, because it wasn't lighthearted. What I took away from his review is that he says it didn't have heart, which I don't believe, because there's so much heart in that film. When Lois Lane puts her hand to his chest and says, "This means something," and he's like, "It did on my world. My world isn't here anymore." Lois Lane grounded him so much. You notice, like in the film, right? And this is why I love the film, because every time I see it, I love more about it. Whenever he's Superman, it's just, ugh. But that scene in the beginning when he's with Lois and he's like, "I don't care. The woman I love could have been killed. I didn't kill those men. I don't care what anyone says about me. I just want to be here with you." And he's actually smiling and he's happy. People said, "Oh, that's a douchey thing to do." But then if he sits there and he's like almost damn near weeping because all these people died in front of him, he's being emo, so the guy can't win. If he gives a little bit of time or devotes a little bit of time of his life to himself, people say he's a selfish douche. But if he cries and he feels bad and remorse for everyone that he can't save, he's emo. So it seems like he can't win. He can't be a normal dude. I think the only time people don't trash him is when he has scenes with his mother. Everyone's like, because everyone loves their mother for the most part.
Oh my gosh. First of all, this Ma Kent, first of all,
I'd bang her.
Second,
I'd bang her.
She's the toughest person in the DC cinematic universe. She was choked out by Zod and then kidnapped by Lex Luthor. Like, this woman has been through it all. So it was really funny when, like, and also I had to explain the whole, Batman didn't say I'm a friend of your son's because he was an actual friend of her son's. He said it because, well, a dude in a bat costume just came in and fucked everyone's shit up. Like, what would you think if someone did that, even though you were kidnapped? You would be afraid that they would come to fuck you up too. So, like, that's why he said.
And another thing, right? You know what I mean? And here's the thing, right? A lot of people say, "Oh, you're just, you know, filling in blanks, stuff like that." Okay, let's assume Clark talks to his mother, right? Regularly, right? He's going to talk to his mom about stuff going on in his life. In the film, they made Gotham and Metropolis close enough that Clark knows about this bat vigilante. So when he's talking to his mother about it, right? He probably talks to his mom like, "Oh, this bat vigilante guy, I don't know about him. Everyone fears him. Everyone says he's a demon. He's blah blah blah. No one knows. Blah 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 blah." So I'm sure she knows about Batman, the urban myth of Batman. So it's like, okay, just, you know, I'm a friend of your son's. You know what I mean? But people are like, oh, you're
Sense
reaching for
comic.
stuff. But that's the cool thing about stuff like this. It's like there's depth to it. I don't. One thing that makes me so angry when people say there's no depth, the plot, there's no plot, there's no heart. All of that stuff isn't true because there's a couple scenes. I don't know about you, but in Man of Steel, there's a couple of scenes where I teared up, and there's a couple of scenes in this film where I teared up too.
I,
Like,
I'm gonna say, Man of Steel was the first superhero movie that I saw that sent chills up my spine, and I said, "This is a comic book." And that was a scene where Zod picked up Ma Kent by the neck and started choking her, and you just hear Superman saying, "Let go of my mother," and smashes him through a bunch of shit. I went,
yeah,
"That's a superhero movie."
he was like, you think you could threaten my mother? I'm like, yeah, fuck him up, Clark. You know,
And I'm saying, like, for those who think this, first of all, I haven't heard anyone complain about uh, what's his name? Who plays Superman? Cavill.
Henry Cavill, he's great. I like him.
When he picks up that spear and he has that look in his eyes, he's like, "This is what I gotta do." That was a Superman moment, and if anyone says that wasn't a Superman moment, that's the most Superman moment any Superman has had, where he's like, "This is what I have to do." And I think the reason they did the Doomsday thing is because I feel like a lot of movie makers have been wanting to do the Doomsday thing for a long time. A lot of filmmakers who wanted to have the death of Superman. Now, what I'm excited for, which is there could be so many possibilities of things that happen. Lex is obviously going to get out of jail. Obviously.
His dad might come get him.
Or and even if it's like Lex Jr. who ends up becoming like Lex Luthor, it doesn't bother me either way because I feel like he's good. Uh, it's just if he does what I think he would do, because he already messed with DNA before, we're gonna get a Superboy. We're definitely gonna get a Superboy. Now, what kind of Superboy are we gonna get? I hope we get Leather Jacket Superboy because I like
The
him.
mullet?
He adds like comedy to the mix, but like it's just like if I can have like a dream, a real solid like dream team, like as of right now, I was talking to my friend before all this mess even happened, before they even announced Batman vs Superman, when Man of Steel was coming out, and they were talking about a cinematic universe for DC. I said this to my friend. I said, if they're gonna do Crisis on Infinite Earths, Marvel's in trouble. And they went, why? And I said, it may be a complex story, but it's one of the most well-known stories, way more well-known than any Marvel story. Like, they're doing Infinity War. Crisis on Infinite Earth would crush Infinity War. And
I
the
have to
Flash
agree, and I
appearing-
love Infinity War, but I have to agree. Yeah.
and I'm not even insulting Marvel because, like I said, I'm
No,
the biggest
no. Infinity War is
Infinity
good,
War was
but but Crisis is just so much.
Crisis on Infinite Earths, and also, by the way, the head of DC, because we were talking about him before, said that the TV show and the movies may be in different universes, but they're both a part of the multiverse.
Yep.
And the first episode of in the very first episode, Flash disappears in Crisis. We have to think this is an overall goal. I think they're really hiding it because I'm bad with names. Zack Snyder, right? Directed Batman v Superman.
Yep.
He said they have nothing to do with each other. Flash on TV will never appear in Flash in the movies. I think he is. I think he's hiding it because, like, if he openly admitted it, that would be openly admitting there's going to be Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Well,
and
did you
that's
see?
going to give Marvel, like, I think they want to surprise Marvel with that. And I think they're going to because they already had brief hints of it with Flash coming in and warning Bruce Wayne.
Well,
Like, that was a blatant reference to Crisis.
we didn't really talk much about the movie, but that's cool. Okay, this last run, we're gonna talk about the movie. We're just gonna stay on the topic of the movie, and because I personally want to.
We're not.
No, we're going to because I personally want to go through all the nitpicks that people have, and then we're just gonna knock them out with logic. Okay, so starting with your favorite picks, let's go. What's your favorite part of the film, Colin?
Amy Adams in the bathtub.
Nipple, because her pasty fell off. One of her pasties
Yeah.
fell off.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you know why Superman's a hero? He's obviously a 9. He's an 8, but when he with the British accent, that makes him a 9. As much as I love Amy Adams, she's a 4. I salute you, Superman. Giving self-esteem to homely women since 2013. Okay, your favorite part of the film?
All right, mine.
Yeah,
All right.
you can't say the nipple.
If we have to go down to one scene in particular, it's the Lex scene on top of the tower. It's when he's confronting Superman and brings Superman to his knees, because that is the most badass villain scene in any comic book movie I feel like I've ever seen. Like, that's almost a Joker-esque from the Dark Knight scene.
Yeah.
Like, and Joker was amazing, whether we like it or not. Heath Ledger was brilliant.
Yeah,
as
he was
the
a great Black Mask. Yeah. Okay. No, but the cool thing, I love that scene, but the one thing that sold it for me is when Lex put his hand over Clark's head, like the way priests put their hands over people's head when they baptize them. I was like, oh my god, awesome! I love that scene too. That's one of my favorites.
That I say has to. That and the Man Bat scene are my two like things that always stick out for me as like, even though Man Bat only appeared for 2 seconds, I was just like, Man Bat. So yeah, I would say those two. I like the entire movie, but like, yeah, if we're picking down one, it's the tower scene. That described the entire movie for me. How pieces fell together perfectly for Lex Luthor.
Yeah, a lot of people said there was no plot. All the plot lines led to Lex Luthor. Ba. Here's the thing, right? Would you rather have a villain that has one plot line that leads to him, or a bunch of villainous shit that leads to him? It makes him stronger as a villain. That's why the Lois Lane stuff was in there. But I'm gonna get to my point, or my part of the film that I liked a lot. I liked when it was over. I liked when it was over because I like hearing people be divided. Because I think what was really profound about this film was that it's a film about a divisive topic, but it becomes a divisive film. So you have fans debating the film about people who are debating the status of characters in the film. So it's actually very brilliant. But my favorite scene, the Martha scene. The Martha scene is my favorite scene out of.
Which? Oh wait, the death scene.
No,
like,
you're going to kill Martha.
Okay,
Save Martha. That was my favorite scene because for the longest time, right? Anyone that knows basic psychology, anyone that wants to give some stuff some thought. Batman, right? The best way to portray Batman is a grown man. It's a child in a grown man's body. He never had a childhood because his parents were taken away from him. And what he does is the equivalent of high stakes cowboys and Indians, high stakes cops and robbers. It's him playing, which is why I think one of the reasons why he wouldn't kill his rogues is because then it would leave him with no playmates. I think a part of him enjoys the idea of going back and forth with people that are equal parts of his personality. You know, it's like the Riddler doesn't really do anything wrong, so why would I get rid of him? Because I want to see what clever riddle he puts me up against next time, and maybe I could solve it. I don't really want to get rid of the Joker, even though he kills people. And I think anyone that plays Batman as a hero doesn't understand Batman. He's a very dark character, he's conflicted, he's messed up in the head. At the end of the day, he's a grown man that has all the power and resources. He could make Gotham City better just by putting more money into the police department. He could make Gotham City better just by bringing more jobs back to Gotham. He could actually save that city being Bruce Wayne, but he would rather dress up in a costume and fight people because saving people with his resources implies being an adult. Going around and being above the law and hitting people, it's like a kid playing, because sometimes kids don't like to have accountability for their actions. And I think there's so much depth to the character that was missing with Christian Bale's Batman, because it seemed like, I'm angry and I want to like make Gotham better, but he didn't seem insane. Whereas Michael Keaton, he would have conversations with people, and you could see it in his eyes. He's just like when he met Vicky Vale and the other guy from the newspaper. He's basically like, yeah, I got to get through this because I don't really like doing this, but I need to keep up the facade. So he's like, hi, I'm Bruce Wayne. And you can see that he's not all there in the head, and that's what made Michael Keaton's Batman so great. And then when Ben Affleck's Batman did that, I'm like, that's how you do it. He is not all there. And so that Martha scene, I felt like it was a trigger word for him to kind of come back from where he was, like John said. So I felt that scene was super duper strong, and it linked the two of them, and it was a great way because it was a clever way. Because you would think that it's lazy writing, but again, there are people who have been writing these characters for 15, 20 years on these characters, some longer, and no one ever thought to have a scene like that in the comics. No one ever thought to like utilize that idea. And everyone says, "Oh, well, why did he kill his parents in the beginning?" Because to do that. So the Martha scene I really loved, and seeing Ma Kent tied to a chair with her makeup running and she's all sweaty, it made me want to like save her, rescue her, bring her home, run a bath for her, and then afterwards she could make me some spam.